Hi folks, I wanted to make a quick tutorial to help you get started on building your video package for the next episode of Viewfinder TV. I'm going to be working with the women's basketball versus William Penn footage because it has most of the ingredients that many of your videos will have, but then you will need to sort of uh, make it more specific for your own video. And if you have specific questions about working with your own video, feel free to reach out to me. The things I need to get started are the transcript, which you already have. You have a printout of that. I need my VSOT print typed out. Even if I have the VSOT and I don't have the transcript, that's okay. You just need your VSOT that you wrote in class and finished off in class. So this is the VSOT for this group. And I also need the audio recording of my VSOT. To record the audio of your VSOT, you'll need to either go into the audio production studio, which your key card should get you into, uh, and and you can go ahead and record in there. The tutorial for how to record in there is simply attached to the computer, the workstation that's there. You can scan that with your QR code, scan that QR code with your phone, and you'll be able to watch the tutorial video to get you through that. Uh, if you're having an issue with that, if you have an issue with the studio, we had some technical issues last semester that we resolved. But if we missed something and that issue hasn't been resolved for you, then you can, for this video, just for this one this week, if you have to do it with your phone or your computer to record it, I'm going to allow that as long as you can do it in a quiet place and with as long as you are close to the microphone so that we have a minimum echo and maximize that sound quality. Just for this first video, because I know that's a possibility, there might be some issues there, but try the studio first because I want to know if it's giving you an issue, if there's some sort of technical issue that I can resolve. But those are my kind of options. When you're recording your audio recording in the studio, make sure that you're having plenty of space between the paragraphs of your VSOT. So this VSOT is split up into paragraphs, and I went ahead and recorded VSOT just so I could do it for this tutorial. And you want to make sure that you leave a nice long pause between the paragraphs. So after I say against the statesman, then I'll say in the next phrase, the Vikings and the statesmen have had a strong rivalry, et cetera, et cetera. If you misspeak, if you say something wrong, you can always stop the recording and delete the paragraph that maybe in which you misspoke, and then re-record that too. And your VSOT should just be one track, so just make sure that you export the whole recording as one track. That'll just be easier for you. So once you have those things, you have your footage on your hard drive, you have the VSOT written out, and you have the recording, you're ready to open up Premiere. So find Premiere on your computer. If it's not in the dock down here, just go up to the magnifying glass and find Premiere on one of our lab computers. We'll open up Premiere, and we're going to just start a new project. Before I open a new project, though, I need to give my computer a place to save it. Almost forgot to do that. So I'm going to go back down to Finder. And then I'm going to make a 5-folder setup here. I'm going to find my folder that has my footage in it. I'm going to right click and make a folder called audio, make a folder called exports, make a folder called graphics, make a folder called media, and make a folder called projects. Okay, once I have made those 5 folders, I'm going to go ahead and drop my audio file into the audio folder. This type of audio file I made was an AIF. You could also make an MP3 using Audition, but I'm just going to drop this into the audio folder. Then I'm going to take my camera A folder and drop that right into the media folder, this one as well. These two don't have a place to go. If you wanted to make a folder called like documents or something, you could definitely do that. But I have my 5-folder setup and my transcript and my VSOT right here. Now I can go ahead and go back to Premiere and click on New Project. The name of the project should be the name of the story. I'm going to call this Women's Basketball William Penn, and then add your name to the end of that. Your first name is fine. In Browse, we want to make sure we go to the projects folder that you just made. So mine is on my hard drive in VFTV. Yours might be saved a different way, but I'm going to drop it into my projects folder in that 5-folder setup. And I'm going to skip import mode and just hit create. and it should create a Premiere project for me. Now yours at first, because you might be using it for the first time on a computer, you might be in this learning workspace that shows you some other windows that you don't need to see. Like for example, often it will show this Learn tab over here. This is great for when you're getting started out, but we can make this go away by just clicking on the little sandwich icon right here and choosing Close Panel. And then you can choose a particular workspace that's good for editing by simply going up here to Window, Workspaces, and choosing the Editing workspace. It's just a particular way of organizing all the panels. Another thing that I've noticed is in the update to Premiere, Properties here shows up as a separate window, like it shows up over here. That's fine, but it reduces how much space you have in your program panels. I like Properties to go over here. I just click and drag it so it shows up over here. 4 panels. Up here should be source, here should be program, timeline, and project. Now let's add some stuff to my project panel and go to my Finder. I'm going to add my audio. Just click, drag, and click. And add my media. Click, drag, and click. Now these are great. They're in icon mode, but I want to use them in list mode. And then I'm going to click outside of them and add one more folder using this folder icon called sequences. Okay, next thing for me to do is to make a sequence, and I'm just going to make the sequence from scratch. I'm going to go up to File, New, Sequence. Then I'm going to go to Settings, and probably the default settings are going to be fine. I'm going to choose Custom just by scrolling all the way up here. The time base is going to be 23976. Your frame size will be 1920 by 1080. I can skip all this and come down to the bottom. The sequence name is going to be called your story name, your name, and then an underscore cut 1. You probably won't make more than one cut, but just in case, good to have a cut 1 sequence. Click OK. Now this sequence, it probably is saved outside of your folders. Your computer might have accidentally put it inside of one of these folders. Wherever it is, you'll need to find it and just click and drag and put it in that sequences folder. And it will also show up right here. If you ever were to like click X and lose that sequence, you can always go back to your sequences, double click that icon, and there it shows up. Just an empty sequence right now. So now that I've made my sequence, the next thing for me to do is add my audio, my VOSAT, to the sequence. That's the first thing I'm going to add. Before I even add any video, I'm going to add the audio. Move my VOSAT down there. Actually, I'll move it in track 1, but I'm going to keep that clicked there. Now my VOSAT will show up. It's the whole thing. To zoom in, I can click on this little wheel here to zoom that in. I'm also going to move my cursor between these 2 tracks and click and drag that down so that I can see my VOSAT really clearly. And you'll be able to hear that these are each paragraph from the VOSAT. On Thursday, January 21st, the Grandview women's basketball team conquered William Penn for the 9th time in a row, beating their. So that's the first paragraph there. I can tell that that's the first paragraph because I have this long pause at the beginning and this pause in between these 2 bits here. I'm going to go ahead and cut out those pauses using the cut tool. Actually, no, before I do this, sorry. You'll see this horizontal line that goes across. This is the gain level for this track. I'm going to zoom out and then click and drag on this gain level. I want to get this gain level to the highest it will go before I start crushing the sound waves here. If I go up too high, that's crushing these. It's going to sound really distorted and also way too loud. You'll see these red dots up here telling you too loud. I need to move this down to right before my highest level is getting crushed. That's right about here. Getting that as loud as it can be without distortion, basically. All right, now I can zoom back in and I know that I can cut out this beginning part. I'm just going to use my cut tool. You can click on this razor or just use the letter C to activate the cut tool there. And then the other part to cut out was here to there. Then I can use my selection tool by going up here and choosing selection or just typing the letter V on your keyboard. That will activate the selection tool and do that. I'm going to go ahead and cut out these other spaces. Cut out these other spaces here as well. Finding those dead spots. Just separating out those paragraphs in my VSOT. I have some really short ones here. Do, do. A total of 55 points. The Vikings don't. And this is, I didn't give quite a long enough break in this one, but that's okay. I can still work with it. And let's say that that's it. So that's my script. It's all kind of chunked out here from my VSOT. And I am ready to begin adding some video stuff now. Now, the next video that you add, it depends on how you recorded this video. If you recorded this video with a stand-up, if you did a stand-up when you were recording, meaning you had a presenter holding a microphone saying, here is where I am, I'm about to talk to you about the video, you may have put your stand-up as the first thing in your VSOT, right? So in this case, the first thing that we see in the script is the VSOT. It's me or the narrator saying on Thursday, January 21st. But depending on the way you structured your video, the first thing that we might hear might be your stand-up. That's fine. You can do that. If you recorded a stand-up, you could also do a VSOT and then a stand-up after that. That's a perfectly fine structure to do too. That just kind of depends on your taste. In this case, there's no stand-up. They didn't record a stand-up. They did OTFs instead. So we're going to start with the VSOT. So I'm going to take this first bit here, move it all the way to the beginning. And now it's my time to find clips that will go with this VSOT. Um, what length should those clips be? Basically, each clip needs to kind of align with the cadence of the VSOT. I'll tell you what I mean. First, we're going to see a clip. It's going to be on screen the same time I'm talking. And then when there seems to be kind of a brief pause in what I'm saying, that would be a place that makes sense to add another clip. And I'll say clip when I think another clip should appear. So clip. On Thursday, January 21st, clip. The Grandview Women's Basketball Team conquered William. Maybe clip here. Clip here, maybe. Longest win against the Statesman. Maybe another clip here. Oh, and I forgot to separate this one out. So there's another little pause right here. This is going to be the first segment of my VSOT, just right here. So you could see it was like 4 clips in this about 10-second portion of footage right here, kind of basing it off of the cadence of the VSOT itself. Now it's time for me to find the clips that are going to go in there. All right, so how do I find the clips that are going to go with this? Well, we need to review our media. So I can click the drop down next to my media, but then actually, instead of doing this as a drop down, if I do it as a drop down, the only way for me to see these clips is to double click on the icon, and then I'll see it in this source monitor up here. And that's fine, but there are faster ways to do this. If I double click on the Camera A folder, it will open up that folder in its own tab. See, I can go back and forth on tabs here. This tab I can actually have appear in icon view, which will be more useful for me because it even gives me little previews that I can scrub through and see what's in there. Even better, if I maximize this panel by clicking on the panel anywhere on the panel so it's highlighted in blue, and then typing the tilde key on my keyboard, it's the far left key underneath the escape key. That will maximize this window, and I can even make these video previews appear larger. That will allow me to pick clips that I think are good. Now, I am not going to go through the work of finding the exact right clips for this one. That'll be your work to do. But let's say that you find a clip that you think is going to work really well for that opener. You want it to be something, in case of this video, something dynamic, something that's going to capture the viewer's attention. If you find the video that you think is going to be appropriate for that VSOT and is going to be the one you want, you can right-click on it and go down to Label. And you can label it a different color, in this case, red. I'm not sure if you can hear my kids arguing in the background. That's why I was laughing. Let me know if that's distracting for you. Anyway, so I have this clip that I labeled a different color. If I go back to my project panel here and do this drop down on camera A and scroll down a bit, I will see I have a clip now that is labeled red. That means like I saved that. I want that to show up in my VSOT now. So let's double click on this to see it up here in the source panel. This is the place where I get to preview it. Short clip. You'll hear there's an audio issue with it. We'll fix that. But let's say that I don't need the whole clip. You know, it's a few seconds long. Let's say I don't need the whole thing. I just want to be a part of it, like from here to here, like from here to here. That's what I want to drag down into my timeline. I can choose that by choosing in and out markers. So let's say this is my start point. I can click on this little bracket thing. It says mark in. or I can just type the letter I and it will mark that in. And then over here, I can do the O key for out or click on that bracket. Then I can click and drag this down into my timeline. When you're dragging it into your timeline, importantly, make sure it's not covering up your VOSOT because it will replace it. So just drag it in somewhere where it's not going to cover up your VOSOT. And then you can, if you want to, you can move this video clip down here a bit. You can also increase the size of this so you can see a bigger preview. And then you can finesse it, get it exactly fine-tuned how you want it to be just by clicking and dragging those things around. So let's say that I have found, a handful of clips that I want to use from camera A. This is just going to take some time for you to look through your clips, your footage, and find the best things. I'm not being as precise as you should be. Let's say I've grabbed a few from camera A and a few from camera B. Let's say that this is one that I wanted to use, a cool rack focus. My kids are being extra emotional right now. I can in and out this here and drag this down. And let's say that's my opener. Those are my opening shots for my opening VOSOT lines. Those are the ones I want to work with. And again, you can label them and arrange them and rearrange them however you need to. I have just about done the opener here, but there's a couple things I have to do with sound in order to make this sound right. You might have noticed when I was playing this first clip, this first one here, that there was a sound issue. And if you look at the bars over here, you'll notice the bar on the left is going crazy. So there's a problem with the audio recording on this clip. Fortunately, it's an easy problem to solve. I think the problem was that the hand mic was either the receiver was turned on, but the transmitter was not turned on, or the reverse of that. And that led to this static issue. Fortunately, the other microphone, the microphone that was attached to the camera, was running just fine. So I can replace, instead of hearing the malfunctioning microphone in one ear and the properly functioning microphone in the other ear, I can make it so I'm hearing the properly functioning microphone out of both ears. This is why it's really important to always be editing with a pair of headphones on in both ears. All right, I'm going to right click on the audio track, the one that's giving me the problem, right click, then go to audio channels. And then I don't know if it's left, left, or right, right. So if the left track is the one that's the issue, I would make it so that I'm hearing it out of just the right two. If the right track is the issue, I would make sure I'm only hearing the left two. I think it was the left track giving me the issue. So I'm going to click the checks on the two R's and let's listen. Yep. This one's having the same issue. So again, right click, go to audio channels, R and R. And now I fixed the audio issue with this one too. The other camera didn't have the audio issue because it was just using the on-camera mic. It's not as good of a microphone, but there wasn't the malfunctioning one. So I don't have to fix the audio with these two camera angles here, but it only takes a second. Now you might have noticed as I play this, I can no longer hear my VOSOT. My VOSOT is here, but I can't hear it at all if I play it. I can like barely hear it. It's just because the sound from these tracks is so much louder. So I need to turn all of these down. I'm not sure exactly how far I need to turn them down yet, but I need to make sure that my track that has the audio is larger so that I can see this horizontal line, and then I can just drag this down. I think I'll drag it down to about -15 or so, and we'll just see how that feels if I turn that down about 15 or so. Let's listen and see. On Thursday, January 21st, the Grandview Women's Bath. That's still a little bit too loud. The rule of thumb is that like you can like what you're saying in the VSOT, so you can withstand it being like the background noise being louder. But you have to keep in mind that most viewers who are watching this don't know what you're saying in the VSOT ahead of time, so they need that background noise to be quite a bit quieter. The Grandview Women's Conquered William Penn. So I just want that background noise to be like atmospheric. Again, this will depend on what the background situation was where you were recording. This is a basketball game in an echoey building with lots of people there. So yeah, it makes sense that I'm turning these down quite a bit. Okay, there, I've done my first kind of opening bit of my sequence here. I've done all of these clips for this opening VSOT. The next thing I would do, if I had a stand-up, I would throw that in right here. If I didn't already throw it in at the beginning, I would, if I have an OTF that I'm leading up to in my script, I would throw that here. I think the next thing I have though is I just continue talking. So I'm just going to move this audio track right here. The Vikings and the Statesman have had a strong. So I guess I'll just throw in more clips in here. I'm not going to go through that process right now, but I'm going to throw in more clips right here. So after I've added my clips in here that are going to correspond with this section of my VSOT, the next thing would be to figure out what's next. I think the next thing is this is an OTF. So it's an interview that one of the presenters did with one of the players, where they say it's another stepping stone. Your next step, haha, will be to find that clip. So I will open it up. It's probably in camera A because that's the one that has the good audio. I will find that OTF in here somewhere. Maybe it's this one. I think I watched it earlier and I think it's the other one. There's another OTF where they talked with a player. Here, and I think it was this one. So since I know it's this one, I can go minimize this, go back to my, um, I can grab it from here actually if I want to, and I can just double click on it. It will show up in my source panel up here. I could find the place where she says that that bit of information that I use, that quote. Let's say it's from here to there. I haven't looked at it, but let's say it's from there to there, where Diane asked the question. Let's say it's from like there to there or something, right? I will just click and drag this down into here, into my sequence. Now I may have to take the rest of my VSOT quotes here and just click and drag over them and just move them over so I have room. And then let's say that this is the quote that she said that's in my script already. We want to compete with those top teams for the conference. Okay, that's where she says there's a really good team win. So that's what I need. That's the bit of the clip that I need. Now you might have noticed listening to that the sound is not great on this. Like I can hear a lot of background noise on this. So this is the same issue as before. The hand mic is not malfunctioning because it's turned on and it's also turned on the camera. So no problem there. But we're also, now we are hearing the microphone that is built into the camera, which is picking up all of that background noise. I want to make it so that the only thing I hear out of both ears is this microphone. So I need to right click on my audio channels once more. I think I need to make it so that I'm selecting both left now. Another stepping stone. Obviously, we want to compete with those top teams in the conference, and I think way better because now I'm only hearing that hand mic, which sounds much better. Hey, I've added my quote to my sequence now. So I've done my clips here. Let's pretend I've thrown in some clips over here. I have my OTF. Keep in mind, if you have a longer OTF where they're talking for a long time, there's nothing against you like throwing in another clip on top of that OTF if you want to. Let's say I have this clip right here and I want to throw it on top. So I see that clip like while she's talking or something like that. You can definitely do that just to give some more visual interest to the piece. Just make sure the sound from that clip you add is not going to interfere with the sound from the OTF. Okay, this is pretty much your video will be a lot of this. So your video editing will be a lot of this is just following your script, your VSOT script that you put together, adding in clips that are kind of going over your VSOT, just like you've done before, and then getting ready to kind of clean up, put everything together. So I have not completely finished editing this, but once you have added all your clips, once you've inserted your stand-ups, your OTFs, all that kind of stuff, organized this whole thing together and told the story from start to finish. Last couple things we want to do is if there is any important color correction that you think needs to happen, you can go ahead and do it. Really, you've learned how to do this before, but just to remind you, to do color correction, you go up to Window, you go to Effects. So I want to find my Effects tab. Over here, the effect I use is Lumetri Color. I drop that effect onto the clip. Then I click on the clip and go to Effect Controls up here. It's this one. And in Lumetri Color, I can do things, my basic corrections I can do to change the temperature or tint to get that to be, maybe the right colors. I can change the contrast a little bit to make this look a little better. And the nice thing is that if you're using, the same camera in the same location, I don't have to do this effect individually and every time I use that camera. Let's say if I like the way this looks and I want to make this shot look the same way, I can simply do right click, copy, and then click on the clip that I want to use that on, right click, paste attributes. So that was, again, right clicking, not paste attributes. And then the attribute I want, I don't need opacity or any of these. The only one I need is this one here, Lumetri Color. I don't even need to paste the volume or any of that stuff, just this one, this effect. And I can uncheck these ones here. Click OK, and it will add that effect to this one too. So that's an easy shortcut to getting those things. Do that for like where you really think something needs color correction. You do not need to be quite as rigorous with a color correction as you might be on videos that have a longer deadline. This is such a tight deadline that color correction is not as critical. Color correction in camera looks okay most of the time, but you can make those changes as you wish. One thing I do need to do is I need to add an identifier to my presenter and to my OTFs. Anytime a person is showing up on camera the first time. In this case, I have an OTF. I'm going to need two identifiers for that. To find your identifiers, there's a tab called Graphics Templates. And if you don't see that, go up to Window, Graphics Templates. It should show up in the lower left. Sometimes it's on the right. And there are a bunch of graphics templates if you scroll down. The one we're going to use is the one that's called Classic Lower Third 2 Lines. I've used it once before, so it shows up on the top for me, but you might have to scroll down a ways to find it. Graphics Lower Third 2 Lines. I can simply click and drag it onto my timeline. It's going to show up right here. And this one is the one that's going to say the name of my presenter. To change what these words are up here, I need to use my text tool. Maybe I'll make this a little larger so I can see that better. And it's Diana Espinoza. And then title for the presenter will just be Viewfinder TV. And then for my second one, I can do this again. Just drag this up top here. This one I'm going to have to move because it's covering up Diana, right? It needs to be on the right. So I click on it. I go to Effect Controls. First, I'll go to Shape, click this drop down, go over here to Position. I do not want to animate this, so I'm going to unclick this right here. And this will say, okay, I don't need that, that stopwatch there. Because otherwise it's going to animate this movement I'm about to do. Then I can take this horizontal one and move it all the way to the right. And then I'm done moving the shape. Same thing for the text. Again, I'm not going to animate this position. I'm just going to click that to remove keyframes and move that over here to the right. And then same thing for my text one here. I can remove the keyframe and move that over to the right. Make sure it's lined up, kind of right aligned like that, and not too close to the edge because it will get cut off.
I think it's just another stepping stone. I think it's just another
so that's gonna be just fine. It's not animated, but it'll be fine for what we're doing. All right, so it has her name as well, the second person's name, which was Ava Peterson. So I'll go ahead and change that with my text. And then maybe for the title, it might be something like her position. I don't remember what her position was. And then I might need to, again, move these once more. So my text, I might need to move that over a bit more. And then this one that says text, her position, move that over just a little bit more. Now I have my basic lower thirds for each of them. Just make sure you have those identifiers. They only need to show up for the first 5 seconds or so. And now this is ready for me to export. So to export this guy, I'm going to make sure I go to File and then Save. And then I can go to my Export tab here and get started. All right, so while I'm at the Export tab, I can simply go to, I'm going to keep the name. The name is going to be the name of the sequence that I'm exporting, which is the one that you made, the name of your project, your name, plus cut one. But I do need to choose the location where it's going to go. So click on those blue words there, find the folder that has your stuff in it. This is going to go in exports. Just a quick note, when you click on this exports to save it somewhere, you might see a limited number of results like this. Click on this arrow right here. This will show you more places where you can save your file to. So in the exports folder, then click on save. You can either export it directly in Premiere or you can send it to Adobe Media Encoder. That will open up that other program, Media Encoder. I can go ahead and export it here, and it will just take a couple minutes. Once that's exported, make sure to go still in your Premiere and just file save, and then you can quit Premiere. Click on Premiere and then choose quit to close that program. And in your 5-folder setup, you should now have in your exports folder that export. There it is there, which you can see there. And in addition, you should have your Premiere project. These other files here are files that Adobe created automatically. This is the project itself. And of course, you should also have your VOSOT, which is in your audio folder. All right, here is how to submit the assignment. Go to our Blackboard page for Advanced Video Production Lab. Find under Shared Files, click on this link here. It will take you to Video Production Lab folder, go to Spring 26 and Episode 1 Segments, because this is Episode 1. And then while this is here, you can go to your Finder icon, find your export. That's what I want here, and simply drag and drop it into there as your export. Don't navigate away from this window until it's all the way done uploading there. If you click on this little arrow thing, you'll see a progress bar. So if I were to like close this window before it's actually done, then it has not uploaded and I can't count it, and we can't use it in the episode. I can't count it for credit. All right, but once that's done, then it is uploaded. It should show up in here. That's a segment. Next things to do is go to week 2, I believe is where the assignment lives. It's VSOT and editing. Click on the assignment itself. It says what to submit here is your VSOT, which will be an MP3 file, and your Premiere project. So you simply create your submission. I'm sorry, I have to view this as a student for a second to do that. Doop, doop, doop. Okay, student Casey is here looking at the assignment, taking a look. And this is where I can view my instructions. And this is where I can drag and drop files. So you can go back to Finder and you'll drag and drop your AIF file, or your MP3 file, your audio, your VSOT file. You can simply drag it and drop it in there. And you can drop your Premiere project in there as well once that's done. You can keep that name and you can drop your Premiere project in there as well. That should not take too long. You can keep that name. Once those have finished, you'll be able to hit submit and you will have submitted the assignment. So again, we need the MP4 in shared files and the Premiere project and the MP3 in the assignment place itself. Hit submit and you're good to go. And then you've submitted the assignment. We're looking forward to seeing your segments in the next episode of Viewfinder TV.